So what I want you to do, if possible, grab a tee and a ball. We're making it a little bit easier for ourselves by teeing this up, okay? It's just going to take away that emphasis of trying to help the ball or trying to hit at it. So we're not going to try and hit any full big shots when we're trying to learn something like this, because we're ignoring the outcome so much. We're just trying to let go of all those complicated things that plague too many golfers, me included. So I've got a nice smooth picture in my mind. It's back and forth, okay? Just back and forth. Those two words on the swing are going to really enable me to back and forth. And we're going to go again and think, all right, I've got a little bit more momentum here. So I'm not going to snatch from the top, but I'm going to push, swing back, back through. And we start building a foundation that we build up from. And hopefully you can notice there, I was keeping that circle the same sort of tension, just the same as the swing. It's keeping that chain straight. Doesn't mean we're locked rigid, but I'm keeping it wide and smooth. The golf swing is crucial to be smooth. One of the beautiful things about the simplicity of this analogy, visualization, is it works for all sorts of different types of golf shots, different distances, even chip shots. But you have to sort of think a little bit differently. You have to be a little bit creative here. And trust me, when you do, you'll start to really reap the rewards with this a great deal. But we're starting with chipping. When we're thinking of the swing momentum, obviously we don't want the same sort of big kind of full movement here because we're only going there. So how do we apply it? The best way I know how is to imagine you're pushing a little kid, a toddler say, okay? You wouldn't want, if a toddler was in one of those swings, you wouldn't be going woof like this, okay? Because we want to be gentle, we want to be short and smooth and start off with that kind of pressure, with that type of force and that type of momentum. We don't want to scare the little kid, right? Or we don't want him flying out the seat. So the same things applies. Back and forth, gathering it. The same sort of feeling, the same sort of idea. We're not thinking about any complicated movements, just back and forth. It really simplifies so many things. But especially if you've got the yips or you chunk a lot, just thinking about the tempo and the smoothness is going to stop one of the biggest faults, which is like snatching that way, which causes those kind of duff shots here, all right? Because we're tense. We're not going to push a little kid on a swing like that. We're going to be gentle. We're going to be smooth. So what do we want to do when we ramp it up a little bit? Here we are around 100 yards. The same principles apply. But you've got to be wary of a couple of things. You have to realize that even though we're swinging longer, because we're using a shorter club, our tempo is going to be just a hair slower than if we were using a long iron or a driver, let's say. But it doesn't mean we have to change anything else. So for visualization purposes, instead of the little toddler that we're just trying to gently nudge and push through, think of teenager, a 12, 13-year-old that you're just pushing. You're not going to be super aggressive. You're not going to necessarily start really high and push that way. It's going to be a mid-range kind of gentle nudge, okay? That's how it's going to work. That's all you need to think about. So you choose your target. You've got that visualization in your mind. You're starting the momentum of the swing, back, gather, and through, okay? It really is as simple as that. You choose your target and you have that momentum back and through. Because what happens is, it doesn't matter about technical positions. It doesn't matter if you're a bit rusty, cold, whatever. You focus on that swing application and it's going to be so much easier, even for longer shots, with some extra power. And here we have the driver. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to get more distance from the driver, thinking they need to hit harder, to swing faster. More often than not, what happens when we try and garnish more speed? The sequence gets all cack. And with the swing analogy, okay, the playground swing, that chain is going to judder because we're snatching it. We're trying from the top to get too much force. It has to be smooth. And that's why we started just clipping some off the tee, then some chip shots, then some wedge shots, work your way up to irons. Then we finally get to the driver. Let's say you want a bit more oomph off the driver. How can we use that swing to give us that? You can either imagine a 400-pound man or one of those sort of circle things you see on a tree. And imagine there's a few kids on it. When you catch that at the top of the swing, you're not going to be gentle like you were around the greens. You're going to want to have a bit more heave, all right? Because you want to give them fun. You want to get that momentum. You want to keep that tension on the chain or the rope or whatever it is. But you don't want to snatch. So it's a gather and a smooth push, but we're using energy. And how would we get a bit more energy in that swing? We would not just sort of use our hands and push it that way. We would use our weight momentum. We would use our legs and we would push this way. We would push there, okay? So it's like a pull and a push, okay? That's the power move. So when you take some practice swings with the driver, we're gathering the momentum from the top and then really using our whole body to garnish that smooth, effortless power. And the more you can do that, the better it's going to be. And one of the best views to see it from is just down here. More power, more momentum, more push with the whole body. We're gathering that weight. Have that in your mind, have that tempo. Have an efficient practice swing, a mulligan if you will, where we're feeling that weight, giving it a little bit more gradual but effortless power. Be confident, and the main thing is we are not breaking the chain, we're not juddering the chain, it's back and through. So much easier like that. So give all of that a try. Short game, irons, even driver. Picture the swing, and I promise you, you're going to do so much better, much more frequently when you're playing some golf. Let me know how you get on. Check out this video next to really get a little bit more confidence with every club in the bag.